Hello everybody, this is Editing Sarah. I am editing this video like 2 months after I filmed the video. I want to say trigger warning for this video. We talk about self-harm, we talk about death, we talk about hanging. I just wanted to give you guys a trigger warning prior. I also want to give you a little warning. I tried out a mic thing for this video and it did not work the way I want to. You hear me pop my fingers in the mic, you hear me hit the mic a couple times. Just letting you guys know, Editing Sarah does tell you in the video as well that you can hear her crack her fingers. So I'm so sorry about that, and yeah, enjoy the video. Bye! What is up everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are talking about the third and final part to the Sandra Bland case. I'm going to do the trigger warning right here at the beginning. This is the part of the whole 3 series, that we are going to talk about her death. We don't go into much detail, but yes. Also, I'm trying out the little mic thing. I have never done this before, but I don't want you guys to hear my parents arguing downstairs about how the fireplace should go. So, also, not using my MacBook today, I'm using my actual paper notes. There are 6 pages to this. So, in part 1, we discussed who Sandra Bland was in total, what she was like. In part 2, we discussed her criminal background and what she was like after graduating college and everything leading up until now. So, Sandy was really determined to make her mark in the Black Lives Matter kind of world. She really wanted to help out and kind of justify the injustices that were happening to Black people. This is Editing Sarah. I wanted to say that there was more detail on Sandy's whole wanting to be an advocate for the Black Lives Matter movement. I just couldn't find a lot other than she really wanted to help out, and what I'm getting ready to talk about is a little bit of what she wanted to do in the whole thing. So she decided to help out the Jackie Robinson West baseball team. It was a group of Black boys who had won the 2014 Little League World Series, but had the title taken away after it was discovered that some of the boys didn't live in the team's catchment area, so they didn't live in the area that the team was made for. Also going to state this, I have a really bad habit of only looking at my notes that are like on my lap or anything, hence why I've started to put them behind the camera. I'm just pointing this out for the rest of the video so you guys know. It looks like I'm just reading off the paper. It's because I am. I haven't gotten at this point I wasn't used to looking down and looking up, so just thought I'd forewarn you for the entirety of the next 18 minutes. So Sandy vowed to collect pensions, calling for a reinstatement of the trophy. She spent hours at suburban malls asking shoppers for signatures. She was sad that while a few Black people stopped, most of the signatures she got were white people. So she continued to post links to articles about disturbing injustices against Black people. As April came and went, April of, I believe, 2015? Yes, either 2014 or 2015, one of the two. I feel like you're going to be seeing a lot of Editing Sarah while watching this video. I am so sorry for the finger cracking in the mic. I'm really bad about when I film videos I pop my fingers because it's an anxiety tic I have basically. I am so sorry that a lot of you have to hear that. If you don't like it, I'm so sorry. Just skip a couple seconds ahead. Hopefully I don't do it too much in this video. If I do, I'll try to remember for the next videos. But there's gonna be so many of Editing Sarah in this. But I thought I'd warn you, and she focused increasingly on police shootings of unarmed young men. We still have that problem. That is still a problem to this day. And we don't have any justice for that. So one day, Sandy made her own slogan for the whole Black Lives Matter thing. So in capital letters, and I wrote it in all red so you guys can see it right here. At first they used a noose, now all they do is shoot. Which is very true. She then posted a picture of a young Black man in close-up, his neck encircled by an American flag, nodded so as to kill him by hanging. So the American flag was made into a noose. And Sandy made the noose her profile picture. A few days later, she left cooks, which is where she got the job in the last part. So in June, Sandy posted something else to Facebook about herself. We talked about this in part 2. She did not talk about herself very much on Facebook. She didn't post videos about her depression or her PTSD or any of that. But she posted this. Walked into the house to a sink full of dishes, so I smashed a few plates, literally, to make myself feel better. Someone commented on this post and said, LOL. So, on June 17th of 2015, a white supremacist named Dylan Roof massacred 9 black people during Bible study at a church in South Carolina. I didn't do a lot of research on that. If you want to, you can totally do. I'm recommending you do your research on a lot of this stuff. So, yeah. So, Sandy immediately posted about the murders. She immediately was sharing stuff about them, bringing awareness to them, so that's good. A little trigger warning, again, at this part, we talk about self-harm right here, and I even put, like, in my notes to tell you that there's a trigger warning. So this whole part, there should be, like, a trigger warning of some sort. So, around this time in Sandy's life, she seemed to self-harm. So according to a postpartum photograph of her inner left forearm, so right here, she had numerous small marks. They were all just kind of neatly spaced on her arm. She hid these scars well. With makeup or even just a turn of her arm, you wouldn't be able to see it. So, like, she knew how to hide it. So in late June, she called her old friend from Prairie View, Levon Mosley. I cannot tell you how many times during part 1 I called him Mr. Mosby. I called him Mosby quite a few times, but it's Mosley. They had a long talk about her frustration, and as Mosley told it, or he recalled it, her desperation. So she just wanted to vent to somebody. So her feelings for the older man she was living with at the time had diminished. She had no feelings for him whatsoever, and it was kind of a convenience of a relationship. He provided a roof over her head, and she needed that. She had just left her job. Though she did ask her mom if she could move in with her, and her mom told her she would think about it. Now keep in mind, they've had some, I think what we talked about it in part 2, they've had some issues about something was going on that they have not disclosed, and they probably won't. Mosley, her friend, urged Sandy to go onto Prairie View's job website to look for jobs, and Sandy found 4 positions. She found 1 permanent one and 3 job positions, 1 permanent one and 2 temporary jobs. So the permanent one was for someone with a college degree. Remember, Sandy has a college degree in music. The 2 temporary ones were for like $13.50 an hour and only like 4 weeks during the summer. But she applied for all of them. And while she waited on a response from Prairie View for any of these jobs, she had to drive her mother to Tennessee for the 4th of July weekend to visit family. Her mom says that they spent the road trip discussing old tensions. There was constant gospel music playing in the background, and they attempted to rebuild their relationship, which I think they kind of needed. They kind of needed that. On Wednesday, July 8th, Mosley got a phone call from Sandy. She said that Prairie View wanted to interview her the very next day. Her mother still hadn't let her know if she could move in with her, so she kind of didn't have a place to go, but she wanted out of DuPage County. So she told Mosley, fuck it, I'm going to Texas. The following morning, Mosley went on a morning bike ride, and he came back to see Sandy in his driveway. She had driven over 1,000 miles non-stop in 16 hours. So according to Mosley, she didn't tell anyone she was leaving, so no one knew. She didn't tell the person she was living with, she didn't tell her mom, her sisters, she didn't tell anyone she was leaving. So she took a shower at Mosley's and went to the interview. She got hired for one of the temporary jobs, and it only paid $13.50 an hour, and it was for only 4 weeks that summer. So though it was only $13.50 an hour and it was 4 weeks long, she called almost everyone she knew to tell them the most exciting news about her getting the job. So she signed the papers. They told her when she'd start working, and she left the place that she got interviewed, and no one would see her after this other than video footage. So after she left the interview, she was pulled over, brutalized, and arrested by a Texas state trooper, Brian Encinia. I'm going to say this before I discuss the rest of what happened after she was arrested and all that. I was originally going to put in some of the video footage from her arrest, dash cam footage from the police officer's point of view. I have since then watched the video from the dash cam. I will not be putting in this video. It made me very upset to watch it. My niece watched it with me, and she was even somewhat upset by it. It was just so much, and it happened so quickly. A lot of it, in my point of view, the fault is on him for how he reacted to her. And I'm not going to victim blame Sandy at all. Sandy had every right to do what she did in the video. If you want, you can literally just look it up on Google and it'll pop up. And if you've watched all 3 parts of the series and you want to know what happened when Sandy was arrested, please go ahead and do so. I personally am not going to put it in this video just because I can't do Sandy that way. I can't personally do her that way after 3 videos of talking about her, so I just thought I'd let you guys know. Honestly, don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I could care less because he, in my opinion, probably did something to her. So she's at the jail, and she told a Latino guard during intake that she had felt very depressed during the past year, and that she felt that way at that very moment. Though, a little less than 3 hours later, she would lie on a form she had to fill out for intake and say that she was not depressed and didn't think about killing herself. Nonetheless, jail protocol says she should have immediately been seen by a mental health professional, hospitalized, or at the very least, put on suicide watch. None of that happened. Sandy was charged with a felony assault on a public servant and placed in a security cell that by chance was empty but her. So the jail basically threw someone with mental health issues, depression, and all sorts of things into solitary confinement. They put her in a cell by herself with no one to talk to and no one to interact with. So her cell phone was confiscated, and inmates are able to make a phone call on the wall inside their cell, but only if the person they are calling agrees to a $14.99 charge. No wonder nobody uses those. So that Saturday, her bond was set at $515. She was also allowed free phone calls from the booking desk. She called her sister, who did not have the money, as she was being sued by her landlord for over $1,000. She called Mosley. He also didn't have the money, but told Sandy he would raise the money with his fraternity brothers. But by Sunday, Mosley did not have the money raised, and no one in her family had the $515. So Sandy called no one from her cell. She didn't call anyone from the phone in her cell, and no one visited her. She was a woman with a reputation of not crying, but according to a woman in a nearby cell, Sandy spent Sunday sobbing and saying that being locked up was a life she could not deal with. On Monday, July 15th of 2015, at about 6:30 a.m., Sandy refused breakfast. Just before 8 a.m., she used the emergency-only intercom system to beg a jail employee for more free calls from the front desk. He refused and told her to use the one in her cell. 2 minutes later, she was on the intercom making the same request, and he refused again. Only an hour after she had used the intercom system twice to ask for more free phone calls, Sandra Bland was found dead, hanging from a bathroom privacy partition in her cell with a noose around her neck. It's me again. I'm sorry, I already told you. But basically what I was trying to say, she was found hanging
like on a bar that was in the bathroom. It was so hard for me to get that word out, and I don't know why, but I said it really quietly too. Just to explain it just a little bit more for you guys, a tad bit, so you understood what I was trying to say. So yeah, back to the video.
This was made from a plastic jail-issued garbage bag. Her feet were touching the ground. It is a common position for hanging yourself for suicide. So, going on a little bit, we're going to talk about one of the biggest theories that came from Sandra's death, and that is the mugshots. If you've never seen her mugshots, I will show them to you right now. There are 2 mugshots, and they look very different. One is from it looks like she's alive, and the other one just kind of looks staged. In my personal opinion, I'm not saying that it is, I don't know if it is, but it has been the biggest thing that come out of her death. And people state that her mugshots were taken as she was laying down. They were taken after her death. They believe that she died the day she got in there, which evidently there's proof that she didn't if she was calling people that Saturday when she was arrested, I think Friday. So she couldn't have died the same day she was in there if she was calling people on Saturday. But the mugshots do look a little different than they should. They noticed if you look at the pictures, people say it looks like she's laying down, and they've made it look like she's awake. There is I believe, doctored photo of her mugshot where like they rolled her eyes in the back of her head. I am just saying, I don't know if that is true, but in my personal opinion, it does kind of look staged with how her hair falls. I'll put the picture in so you guys can see. Or I've already done it, so there you go. Also, after Sandra's death, there were protests erupted everywhere. In a lot of people's opinion, it was another innocent black life taken by a cop's hands, and I understand that. There's been a lot of those, especially in the last few years. Little did Sandra Bland know that she would not be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, but she would become a part of why it is a movement. So after Sandra's death, people of all races mourned her. Memorials, hashtags, and protests erupted. Also, there were a lot of theories going around that she was killed by her jailers, and a lot of those jailers were like Hispanic and white people that they were accusing. There's a whole lot of that going around. So her family filed a lawsuit against the jail and the people who jailed her, and there was just a lot of that. But the people that her family sued said this: Bland's decision to commit suicide was hers alone. If she had told an intake officer 3 hours before she filled out that form that she was depressed, that intake officer should have said something and should have told somebody and should have immediately got Sandy some help. And they didn't. But to this day, I believe there's not a lot of updates on this other than 6 years ago when the courts ruled in favor of Brian, which was the state trooper that arrested her. Justice for Sandra Bland there is none. We still don't know what happened to Sandy when she was in jail. There's video footage of her there, and she's alive and well, and she is in her jumpsuit. There's also footage that she filmed of her arrest. This is the third and final part of Sandra Bland's case. I wanted to start off with her because I have a list. You see that right there? That is a list of Black Lives Matter victims, police brutality victims. There's missing and murdered Indigenous women on there. There's all sorts of things on there. There's so many people on that list. It's front and back filled up completely. They need their stories told. Not a lot of people talk about this stuff. And I chose her for a reason. I went on a website that had like murdered black men and women and children by police, and she was number one. And I actually read a snippet of the website that I got this information from, which will be in the description below, because they had a lot. There was a lot I didn't put into this because I felt it was irrelevant to Sandy. Part one of this video had a little bit of it, but Sandy deserved to be talked about. Her case really just kind of touched me, and funny enough is what I didn't put in at the very end was there was a little boy who knew Sandy, and he wants to know what happened to Sandy. He wants to know what happened to this woman who was so kind and so nice to him, and he deserves that. He deserves to know that. Her family deserves to know what happened to her. We deserve to know what happened to her. So I will put the link down for the change.org. Whatever, guys, go sign the pension, because there's pensions out there for Sandra. Sandy deserves justice. She deserves it. She deserves to have justice and all of that. So please go check out the links I have below. I will have the website I got all this information from down there. I will also link videos, Sandy's videos that she posts on Facebook down below. I feel like we could all learn a little something from Sandra, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this 3-part series. I hope you guys enjoyed the part 2 and 3, this prior one and this one. I was trying to get these videos out as fast as I could. So I don't know if this is out before or after Christmas. Editing Sarah, please tell them what it is.
Editing Sarah, once again. It's after Christmas. It is actually January 29th of 2022, so good job, Sarah. Good job in getting this out before Christmas. Well, it shows you I don't like editing.
Or maybe it's on Christmas. Who knows? Maybe I'll just give you guys a Christmas one. But I can tell you, I think I'm going to do a 2-part series to welcome 2 or 3-part, very similar to this one, for the new year. So 2022, maybe I'll do, for 2022, I'll do a 2-part series. Maybe I should have done that. A 1-part series for 2021, 2-part for 2022, then so on and so forth. That'd be a 10-part series for like 2030. But the next case I want to do is Freddie Gray. He is also a police brutality victim. So yeah, get ready for that. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you can, give this video all the love and support you can. Like it, share it, subscribe, hit that bell, whatever. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you in the new year.